It's Sports by the Book at the South Point Studio. Here's Jeff Parles.
Welcome in. It's Sports by the Book, South Point Studio. Happy to be with you as always on the final Friday of February. How about that?
Free Throw Friday.
Free Throw Friday. Vinny Magliulo is here and Jimmy Vaccaro. Back-to-back days to open the show for Jimmy.
It's your show, Jim.
It's great
Back-to-back days.
Yeah, it's great to see you again.
Well, then
Hitting leadoff.
you're missing another check that should have been in my mailbox.
The check is in the mail.
You can take that one up with Mr. God, Jimmy.
Go ahead. Thank you for being here on my second day in a row. And, we can have a lot of fun today. And I'll run this by you, and then you can take it from there and do what you want to do with it. The gambling and the booking is a fascinating life. It doesn't look like it because, first of all, we've always got the dirt thrown on our face. But I would like to sit here and go over a couple of things on actually how it does work, what it is all about that makes the attraction bigger and bigger. And me and Vincenzo have a few numbers to show you that really our side of the coin and see what happens from there. So, do what you want to do, then we'll go with that stuff.
No, we can honestly start right there because this is a very quiet college basketball card here on a Friday where the best matchup by a pretty significant margin is being played tonight in Ithaca between Yale and Cornell.
Yes.
Which is an awesome game between arguably the two best teams in the Ivy. Of course, tomorrow we get our 100-plus games on Saturday as we always
including the Ivies.
Including the Ivies
play
again.
Because they play back-to-back.
But, Jimmy, we can start there where, again, we're now 2 weeks clear of the Super Bowl at this point.
Well, we can start right with what you've been talking about. It's not a big schedule tonight, but obviously there are a lot of names there, the people who want to be introduced to the betting. It's like, I didn't know Yale and Harvard played. I didn't know this. There was a time, and Vincenzo jump in too, where a Friday was the only thing that we had to help us save the Fridays way back when were the Ivy League and the small schools. Because who wanted to do it? There wasn't a lot of people who made numbers on these things. And if you did make a number for your casino or book, wherever you ran, it was small limit because, nobody really knew except, but, you didn't try to go out on a limb too far, but you wanted to progress. And as I said 2 minutes ago, it's just one more little piece of the ladder where it kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. As we said a million times, the college season didn't even start till January. So here we are, but we had something to do on a dead Friday. And it turned out, here it is. It's the mainstay of tonight's games. All teams a lot of people don't know nothing about, including me, and the Ivy League.
So you got the Ivies today. You got four Ivies. You got the Metro Atlantic, who will not play tomorrow. So whoever's playing in the Metro Atlantic, for instance, today, right?
Iona Ryder,
Marist, Manhattan. They're not going to play.
Canisius and Niagara. Hey, Canisius and Niagara is a big rivalry up there in Western New York.
Yeah, I think what you want to pay attention to, too, from people listening out there from a handicapping standpoint, is the Ivies playing back-to-back. Once remember, they added their conference tournament, and conference tournaments are always back-to-back. So they kind of get a jump on things from a familiarity standpoint. To Jimmy's point, you use today, and again, the overnights will go up for college because there's two advantages to putting up the colleges for tomorrow up today. One is you get some early action, and not only tied into today, but you get a little bit of foreshadow because the folks that are going to play the overnights are more sophisticated, better. So you're going to get a little bit of intel, which is great. It's good for the bettors. And from a logistics standpoint, you're not setting them up at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. You're putting them up today, and you've got all night. And again, here at South Point with a 24-hour book, you get overnight action going with it as well. Now, you compare that to Jimmy's point. Yesterday, we were talking about the NBA. Yesterday was the first day that the NBA was back since the All-Star break. Jimmy, talk about the difference in comparing the handle to, which was a pretty good-sized card yesterday in the colleges, and spaced nicely from, let's say, 4 to 8 o'clock last night. You look at the handle in college basketball yesterday compared to the NBA.
A little surprised. It was a little better than I thought it would be. Remember now, the NBA basically took 6 days off. College kept to pace. They did very well. Then I was curious to see what would happen to like the NBA yesterday after being off for the 5 days? Would the games obviously play shorter? Would they play longer? And now the people who understand this racket pretty good and are numbers people, what you want to call them wise guys or whatever, they made us be smarter because they start whacking us around pretty good because, first of all, their lives are, it just consists of everything that you do while we have other things to do running a book. So I would say, Vincenz, maybe second year, we were actually up to date on like what these numbers should be. Because like I said, and if you were out there playing, and if you spotted something that you could utilize maybe 3 or 4 times on a Friday, then obviously you're going to play it. So it's like every other business that you see. We don't go looked at as a business because it still comes down to like, you bookmakers, you do this, you do that. But trust me, it's quite different than it once was. And it's really quite different for the people who upstairs run the places or own the places. So we learned as much as we could from the people that we knew were smarter than us on these type of things. You have to
learn. You have to take on board, and a lot of times, there's it's a matter of operational choice, fearing or trying to dissuade professional play. You know what? That's what you have limits for. But you're also those are folks that if we've got to book every game and book every sport, they don't have to bet every game and bet every sport. It's because it's true. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's a lesson that, we had to learn. And again, that's another reason why we're doing this for as long as we have been. Let's say, you've got your limits. You don't have to take your full limits on your overnights either, but be consistent with your limits and then what people are doing and how they're playing. Have a rapport with those kinds of people. That's all good. That's something that's good for business. It's good for you, and it's educational. So, but again, now you look at yesterday, a strong NBA card yesterday, a good-sized card yesterday, another good one today. Who's playing back-to-back in the NBA today? The teams are playing back-to-back, but not every player's playing back-to-back.
No, that's correct for sure.
Okay? Anthony Davis played yesterday, and LeBron didn't. LeBron is probably going to play tonight. Anthony Davis is questionable, just as an example. So that's another reason why that yesterday, and Jimmy and I were looking at the numbers earlier, it was almost a 3-to-1 ratio. The colleges yesterday had about a 2.5 to 3-to-1 ratio in terms of more handle than the NBA because people they want to know be consistent with it. Now, don't wait till the playoffs.
Well, look, and Vinny, I've been out here a lot shorter than you guys have, obviously. But even just dating back to since when I got out here in 2019, finding advantages in college basketball for bettors is just so much easier than the NBA, in part because of what you're saying, especially now. And again,
there's also 353, teams. The number of teams and stuff.
Also, Thursday's a good day for smaller conferences as well,
which is fine. Hey, great. Use it to. But here's another example, Jeff. But here's an example. Yesterday was the first day that the NBA was back, right, for the All-Star break.
Mm-hmm.
The Detroit Pistons have 8 wins. Cade Cunningham had rested, or it was questionable to what? How is that helping the product? That's just an example. Like what people want to know. And again, I've said it before. Maybe it's a matter of us putting up the numbers once we've got a lineup in hand and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to bash them, but I'm just trying. I'd love to help the product. I grew up loving the NBA. I used to go to doubleheaders at Madison Square Garden. So, I think it's something that it really the people are speaking about it, and it's up to the product. I mean, when the commissioner has to really almost implore players to make a quote unquote competitive all-star game, I think that tells you that there's things to be concerned about. And but again, yesterday, strong college play. I'm not saying that the NBA didn't do any business, but I think it would do more business if there was more consistency with the lineup issues that we've seen and talked about.
And this also happens. It just happened last night. We, being where we are on the West Coast, we have favorites that we want to see them play more because it helps your Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday dead days in these books. If the Dodgers are playing, if the Lakers are playing, and now if Golden State is playing. But like we both punched up the bet numbers for the Lakers, and it was like spit because, first of all, who would bet the Lakers right now? Because you don't know who the hell you're getting. You want to think because, and let's call it like it is here, there are some creeps who just like, if they come up and they take the plus 6.5 and then all of a sudden it says that, this guy's not playing, this guy, so the game is 9, they want their money back. They want because they said, Jimmy, no LeBron's playing. What's the two-way street? The people who find out before us want to stick it in our behind, so it's, those people won't do that. So like I said, it's just, to some degree, it's useless because you want to put it up, you want to put as many games as you can put up on the board, but you can't get, and getting back to what I said earlier, if you got in this racket and you didn't learn from stuff like that, then go back and pump gas somewhere because you have a better chance of making a living.
One of the things that we
Oregon and New Jersey still good on that angle, Jimmy.
One of the things that we do is hold up on the games. You'll see more. You see, Jeff, when you're going through your app, let's say, right? You see there are games in the NBA in particular where there's just no betting on it for a period of time until an injury is confirmed primarily. So those are the things that from our side of the counter that we look at, and bettors do the same, right? I mean, but better, there's the term buyer beware. Better beware as well, and try to get as much information. And again, at the end of the day, we're not looking for more information than somebody else. Want the same information, and that always makes for the best action.
And I actually looked at the screen before I come up here, and the Laker game. So far, we wrote $3,000 on the whole game. I mean, that's nothing because, and you can't blame both sides of the counter. Who the hell wants to do that? You would want to say to yourself or think that somewhere down the line from the commissioner on down, which I think is an impossible job to tell a kid, are you playing or not? And the kid says, geez, my ankle hurts. So we've been on this little crazy ride for the past couple of years. I don't know if there is an ending to it. So, and that's sad because the NBA right now, from everything that you read, is pretty much at a high point. People paying a lot of money to come and see these guys play, but I don't know if there is an answer to it.
Lakers 10 tonight against the Spurs in L.A., and number hasn't moved that much, and it's holding steady.
I mean, a horrible team against the team where, again, we're not certain of LeBron looks like he will play.
Yeah, again, he did not play last night. But you got Anthony Davis, who did play last night, had a pretty good game, solid game, and he's questionable right now to doubtful.
So what do? You hope that, and the other thing that hurt
watch the Ivies.
Well, what do we do is I think we go with Vinny's strategy of you guys have to book all the games, but we don't have to bet them all. I think that is the proper strategy. Yeah. At least on some of these NBA games. Now tonight, there is one big-time game in Minnesota and Milwaukee, which, by the way,
good game.
Great for the people of the Twin Cities that have to wait till 9 o'clock local time for this game to tip off.
Wow. Well, it's a national TV, right?
I know it's a national TV game. Vinny, you're at 4, and
4.5. There's a toggler, Jeff.
Oh, it's a toggler between 4 and 4.5, and a total of 225.5, which for a Milwaukee game is extraordinarily low, but in part because of what Minnesota does on the defensive end.
Yeah, look at Minnesota, what they've done. This is a team that's really done well in terms of drafting their trades, and they've figured some things out. The fans are excited. They're a real together group. In the case of this game, we opened at 4. They laid 4. They took the 4.5 not too long ago. Right as we were coming on the air today. So. Two-way action. Tell Ann, please, that let her know, Sean. That
our fearless leader.
That's right. She always gets a smile when there's two-way action. So especially at the desk, which today will be one-way action because we're booking it.
Yeah.
So you got two bookmakers here, but
there'll be plenty of two-way action tomorrow morning.
Oh, with Alex and you, yes.
Alex will be
That's
back
right, and I'll make sure that I extol that that joy. But this is we have a pretty good idea too about the rosters in this one tonight, and so that'll be that's the second part of the doubleheader on ESPN. Cavs and Sixers, of course, no Embiid. But by the way, how about these Cavs?
Playing some great basketball right now.
A good seed, a good a nice team up to the 2 in the East behind the Celtics.
Oh, look, that could loom large if they end up with the 2. Makes Milwaukee, if they ever get their act together, path a little more difficult. Potentially an easier opponent in round 1 as well for Cleveland if you get the 2. So
I haven't responded to the coaching change.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
I mean, and I think they're still trying to figure that out, honestly, within the organization. Chemistry.
I'm sorry, Vince.
Go ahead, John.
The only thing that I have, like that, I shake my head every year because the seasons are so long with the NBA, and here's why I think it doesn't serve us. Of course, they could care less about us. When they're playing these finals in the middle of June.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean,
hockey too.
Yeah, there are some people just want to take a vacation or get out. It's just, and I know, who am I to say that? But, like, I think you don't need all those games to declare a winner. But like I said, it's going to be there. It's going to get worse and worse and worse. And while I got you two here, answer me this question because I'm completely lost. How come if we go back just a short 20 years where we punched in the side and the total was like 191. If somebody bet it went to 192.5. Now it's like 190 in the third quarter.
Because 20 years ago they played defense.
I think the other reason we talk about this in college basketball totals a ton, tempo. Mm-hmm. Just more possessions.
Well, the game has changed, right? I mean, when you've got what we would consider to be pivot players. I mean, 7-footers taking 3-pointers. Mm-hmm. I mean, the game, the step back jumper has greatly changed the game. Some of the rule enhancements, right, Jeff? With the when in the NBA in particular, with your rebound, you don't get a full 24 seconds. So
14 on
the game
is
is
an offensive rebound now.
Up tempo, more up tempo to Jeff's point, and more possession, a lot more shots. But again, a lot more shots from the perimeter too.
Oh, they run down the court. One guy goes to each corner. I mean, whatever. And then the point guard dribbles left, right, and throws to somebody, and they shoot the 3. So I don't know. Obviously, it doesn't. I have nothing to say about it, but I just think it's just
a different game.
Yeah, a different game.
Yeah, for sure.
Before you go, Jimmy, I want to ask this of both of you here because spring training baseball is back.
Yes,
and of course you guys have numbers up on the sides for spring training baseball. How many people come flying in and bet this stuff, which seems to be where there seems to be rhyme or reason for betting preseason football? There are a lot of numbers that back why you should play a side or a total or whatever. What about spring training baseball here?
Well, it's on during the day.
Yes, that is true.
And people like to, when they're in the book, they like to have something to bet on that they can watch. And I mean, that's basically it's a filler during the day. I mean,
sure is.
Along with the European soccer, and but people get a charge out of it. And again, there's no listed pitchers. It's not like booking or even betting. The regular season, because you're seeing a lot of rookies, especially in these first couple of weeks. So, but it's basically a filler, Jeff, from our perspective, right, Jimmy?
You're right. And one more thing I will say before I leave, because I obviously have it pretty easy to do what I want to do and have some fun and trying to bridge all this stuff together. Vinny and Chris work their ass off, but I try to help a little bit. But here's the thing that we, as I said a little earlier, we keep thinking and building the whole process of bookmaking, what it is and where we're going with it. Well, we always say, how smart we are. Well, we just found out about 10 years ago how dumb we were, and then how smart we are now. Is we didn't put up futures on the NFL or the college or whatever until August, which means it was only a month period.
Yeah.
I just wrote this down. Right now, with 90% of the tickets, $5, $10, $15, and $20, we wrote $50,000 so far in the NFL futures. What you get, most of it, people who came for that weekend are betting their $10, $20, $50. So once again, if you say you're a bookmaker and you just do everything your way, well, then you shouldn't be booking, because you should have everything open. You should have everything challenge you to what you do and what you say. So when I looked at that screen, I double checked with Nick. I said, "Are you sure?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "Jimmy, this is it." He said, It was actually like $48,900 on future bets with the NFL. So, like I said, keeps guy like me and Vincenzo off the street. So, keep up the good work, guys. That's all I can tell you.
keep us off the street, whatever you do, folks.
You'd still find a way to book games.
Oh, naturally. I mean, come on. It's like
See
I
you
said.
later.
You going, Sean?
Jimmy,
You want me to, yeah, he's.
Oh, no. I mean, we're going to take a quick break. If you want to stick around, Jimmy, you're more than welcome to. We're never going to say no to you.
I'll stick around.
Yeah, please. Got some games to get to today, and see where else it takes us, as we usually do here on Sports by the Book, here at the South Point studio.
From the South Point studio, the perfect blend of sports.
But I think the Niners are going to wear them down. Detroit Pistons lost their 36 games.
Comedy.
See over-under on that relationship lasting. I'm going to put mayo in the coffee.
Yeah.
I am beautiful.
And a whole lot of Pittsburgh.
In Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Pittsburgh. Join Ryan McCormick.
That's at least 2 picks outside of our own in the first round next year. Oreo.
And host Frank Nicotero.
I look at the clock, I go, ah! Ah!
Oh! Watch Punchlines live at noon every weekday.
Once you've satisfied your hunger, get ready for more of the hottest casino games in Vegas. Our 24-hour, 30-table non-smoking poker room proudly hosts all the most popular poker games with a variety of betting limits. Visit the poker room for a schedule of daily tournaments. Whether you're going to hold 'em or fold 'em, the best place for poker is at South Point Casino. You'll notice that our craps tables are usually the loudest in the casino. If you've never played, join one of our free craps lessons to find out what makes this game so exciting. Check with the craps dealer for schedules and give it a roll. Bingo is also an exciting way to spend your time. We offer 7 sessions of bingo every day. Bingo! And each session includes a cash ball jackpot, 12 bingo games, a progressive double action game, and a $10,000 bonus coverall. Electronic units are available. If you haven't played bingo with us, give it a try today. Guests can also get in on the action at our one-of-a-kind race and sports books. 2 separate rooms designed to maximize your experience and comfort. Our sports book, with over 400 seats, puts you right in the middle of the action, 24 hours a day.
Welcome back in. Sports by the Book is the show. South Point Studio. I'm Jeff Parles. Jimmy Vaccaro's here. Vinny Maliulo is here as well. Always, Vinny, you're doing double duty today.
I did. I was with Frank Nicotero earlier today. Had a nice time with Frank. You know, Chris Andrews is on vacation, which Jimmy, chime in. We used to go on vacation, take about a month off after the Super Bowl. It was bookmaker's holiday. Then we come back and start working on college baskets. Of course, that was 30, 40 years ago. But now, that's one of the, we often talk about things that have changed. And a lot of times some folks may be resistant to it. I think one of the great changes for our industry is that it really piggybacks off of what Jimmy said in closing out the last segment about the futures. Expanding the betting menu has really helped the business. It's really been a boom for the business in a lot of ways because it also keeps you as a bookmaker on top of things. Let's think about this. And Jimmy brought up the Super Bowl futures. I have to tell you, whatever you think about it or not, you have to respect the fact that the NFL has it figured out. They stay relevant all year long, right? Let's think about it. Now you've got all these free agent signings. You've got they're talking about the draft. You've got mock drafts. You've got everything going on. But you know what? Take advantage of that on our side of the counter by making sure you've got the futures up. What's your safeguard, right? In case there are major trades, free agent signings, and then of course what happens cluster-wise around the draft in terms of quality picks and or trades is you've got the protection of not necessarily having the highest prices. You've got prices on there now that will not be as high as teams are post-draft and going into the season, and then, of course, during the season. So but you've also got now a year to book it compared to, like Jimmy was saying before, to have 4 months previously. So those are some of the more positive changes I think that have taken place. The expanded look at college basketball. How many we book just all the conferences, conference tournaments and things.
You're booking them all, and I mean, you're looking at, again, like we just had the futures up for the NFL. By the way, the big NFL news today is that there's an extra $30 million put into the salary cap.
A salary cap is, which is probably at least twice, I would say, of what teams thought it was going to be. Right?
It was, I think they were expecting like $13 million, and it ended up being 30.
Yeah.
So there are some teams that have a ton of room now.
It's a good point, Jeff.
That's
there's and you're going to see a lot of jockeying now with like a lot of restructured contracts. I mean, already. I think Derek Carr's contract is being restructured. What else does that tell you? Well, they're probably keeping Derek Carr.
Yeah, well, I don't think they have much of a choice on that.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, in terms of trading and all the talk about teams with drafting and the Justin Fields aspect and where he may or may not go, and you have to you got to pay close attention to all of that.
Yeah, save $23 million against the cap for New Orleans.
Wow.
With the restructure of Carr, so they will have a boatload more money to go out and spend this offseason, even though they were pretty tight to begin with. Now they actually have some money to go out there and spend.
You know what, Kit?
Yeah.
I keep interrupting you, so get used to it.
Chime in.
When we do things, not everything works all the time.
Of course.
Every once in a while we stumble, but 98% of the time it's good. Like when we talk about the futures with the NFL and whatever, yes, we'll take it. But I think the one that does the most business, because it's every day, is the baseball.
Okay.
Because you can root the whole summer. Because if you bet somebody over or under, you're rooting for a score. And you would be surprised, once again. But in the baseball, for some reason, like when we look at these screens, let's say September 1st, once the baseball's up and the overs and unders have been up for 2 or 3 months, I mean, there's decisions for $30, $40, $50, $100,000 because people feel they have a better, stronger thing because, first of all, you can adjust every day once you see what your team is doing. So that was a home run. So like I said, we don't do everything bad, but we don't do everything good. But the baseball has been an absolute gem because, again, you get someone like Chris or Vinny or even me in the olden days, it's like you can adjust every day to try to maneuver out, put yourself in a better spot. We had what you would consider excellent future books on all the teams so far because Chris sat there every day going through everything. Okay, go to this, go to that, go to this, to buy back 20,000 on this side. This is great for us because we can't put on people for a lot of money, and it usually works out very well for us.
And you've got to adjust prices up sometimes. You can't just lower prices. To Jimmy's point about the baseball, if you're getting a run on, let's say, the Cubs in the NL Central, you've got to be prepared to raise somebody. Maybe it's not necessarily the Reds, but maybe it's the Cardinals, right? And adjust overall. Not just for the division, but for the pennant and the World Series as well. So there are some things that again, you always be learning and be open minded to it. And again, ask the people with respected opinion. Ask the people that are betting it and following it that because they've got good opinions about it. And I always like to know why somebody's making those plays, right, Jimmy?
Right, and what helps us, especially with the baseball, is like let's say the total for the Yankees is 105. Well, you can actually open at 106 because to them, we're getting another game. Which anytime you get more than you deserve, it's good. And in their case, the people who are betting the Yankees over or the Dodgers over, they're just looking at how much can I bet, how much can I have, and whatever. So we have things also that benefit the sportsbooks without really gouging anybody.
Dodgers win total 103.5.
Is it?
May not be ridiculous.
I actually, if anything, I think it might be too low. as ridiculous as that is.
They've owned the division now for quite some time, and it's not like everybody else has done what they've done in the off season, right? I mean, look at their signings. They were solid last year. They're even better this year. And of course, Bueller's not going to start the season, at some point. But they're going to get him back on the mound. I've got to tell you, that's a number. You can't say it's too high automatically.
No, it's just they're, and even in their quote unquote down year last year, they still won 106.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, they're a force. There's no doubt about it. They're going to be. They have been and will continue to be popular.
And remember, it's a two-way street. When I said, obviously we're put up a higher number, but the people who know that's too high, then you get a lot of underplay from what you consider the people who know what they're doing. So it's a two-way street. We're getting two-way action on these things too, which we adore. Believe me, we really like it.
Two-way action, man. That's right. Don't you love it?
Oh man,
gives you a chill.
I want to go to tonight's college baskets here because right now there's one game going in the MAC with 1A right now. Akron closed 7-point favorites. They're leading Kent State by a point. Early goings there in Eastern Ohio. But again, we talk about it. These Friday night games is a spotlight for the smaller leagues and the Ivy, like we said earlier, the first of back-to-backs normally, and it is the case yet again this weekend. And for Yale and Cornell, this is a gigantic game between to me, the second and third best teams in the league. I still think Princeton is a clip above both of these teams. But we've seen the market. The market likes the home Big Red here tonight.
They did. They laid the 2. They laid 2.5, Jeff. We're sitting at 3
now on the Big Red at home tonight.
Let me get my I'll give you a little preview here of my Ivy.
By the way, winner of this game tonight is in sole possession of first place in the Ivy League.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, they're both 8-1 in conference. So Princeton's lost in Ithaca and in New Haven.
And it's unfortunate because they're gonna fight. They're gonna get one bid. They're gonna fight for 2. Do you think they get more than one bid?
No chance.
No chance?
No. They're just.
They'll give those extras to the Mountain West.
They'll give it to Wake Forest, who's probably not much better than Princeton at this point.
Princeton and Yale, I've got very close, Jeff. I got them just about pick them really on a neutral. Cornell I've got them next. I've got Cornell about 2.5, 3 points behind.
Ken Palm right now actually has Princeton 20 slots ahead of Yale.
20.
Yeah, 69th for Princeton, 89th
20 points? No.
20 slots.
Well, slots. So but what's the point? Point?
So if they played on a neutral right now, hold on, let me just get back.
They're not 20.
No, right now on a neutral, they would be 2.
Okay. That's
2.5. Yeah, 2.5.
Okay. I mean, I wouldn't, I could see it, but I could see where, somebody might have it 1. Somebody might have it picked. I have them. Like I said, I've got them right within a point of each other. So, I mean,
they're all quality teams. They're going to be duking it out. They are going to be uptown in Columbia, Vinny.
Yeah.
There used to be a time when
Columbia.
Oh,
no. Go ahead.
Do you want something?
No, I was just.
There used to be a time.
He's just correcting me.
Would you let me talk?
Go ahead, Jimmy.
Just joking. Just joking. You know what I've seen? Obviously, I've been around college basketball and high school basketball my entire life. Obviously, with my brother being dragged around when I was 12 years old. But what I'm getting at is now, the reason, as you just said, young man, in all sincerity, is when you get to the Ivy Leagues, whatever, there's no dead teams anymore. And the main reason is basketball, especially in high schools and whatever, are obviously playing 365 days a year. They travel around the world to play. They have camps. They have things, everything. So anybody that's playing is not a bad player. So nobody really sneaks up on you because you want to say, that team can't win. Well, yes, they can. Even if obviously there are going to be some that are a little less than others, but there are so many. And how about if you're a big time operation and you miss the number 3 slot, you wanted this guy here, go out and get him at Maryland. We got to bring him in here. But it's not the end of the world if he doesn't go there. You'll get a kid who was 1 notch less than him, but he's still a damn good basketball player. So we're getting an influx of so many of these kids. So you tell me, and from year to year, it switches. I mean, you go from 27-3 to 20 18.
Well, look at the transfer portal, to Jimmy's point, right? I mean, transfer portal this year did not benefit Gonzaga.
Nope.
If you look at Florida Atlantic, they're pretty much intact, right? So not really a factor. You look at Arizona, on paper they got stronger. I mean, Arizona picked up, I think it's Johnson, if I'm not mistaken, from San Diego State.
Johnson and Love, yeah.
Johnson from a Final Four team from a year ago. All right, Caleb Love from NC, who was one of, maybe their best player. Although they just can't beat Washington State, as we saw last night. They got swept by this team as double-digit favorites in both games. But the transfer portal, we talk about it a lot in college football, but it's as big a factor, maybe in some cases more, because it's such a concentrated roster in college basketball as well.
Yep. Sure. And I like the idea. Again, I've never met Joe Lunardi. I'm sure he's a nice guy. I'm not trying to make any fun of it, but I'm telling you that stuff drives more entertainment. Stuff drives more people to follow the college basketball, and that drives people to go to the counter. So I like him, and I like all the other people to do that also. So it's good. And again, here we go again. 20 years ago, you wouldn't have anything like that. Now it just keeps adding on. So, Joe, keep picking them, guys.
Yeah, Joe does a good. Listen, Joe's passionate about what he does, and you know something? He's got to put it out more often. Yeah. Like I said, if you look at a week ago, 3 of his top 4 seeds got beat. Purdue, Arizona, and Connecticut got beat.
Forget about his top 4 seeds. It was the committee's top 4 seeds have all lost.
Well, the same thing, but I'm just right. If you look at his top 4 in each region, right, and then the committee did the same thing. Exactly. Yep. So both of them, and they're both pretty close.
Yep.
But think about it. In the last week, that's got to flip. That's got to change because of the fact that 3 out of 4 got beat.
Yeah, he moved. He put a bracket out this morning. UConn, really the biggest flip with the 1 seeds is Purdue moved up and Connecticut went down.
Are they still on the number 1 line?
He had moved UConn.
I wouldn't take them off the number 1 line, but they UConn, flipped as the number 1 overall
Purdue's
seed.
number
right?
1 overall, Connecticut's number 2.
Makes sense.
Houston's still 3, and Arizona didn't move off the 4th number 1 seed. I think that gap between 5 and 4, I think, is a little bit bigger than we realized this year. At least resume speaking, I should say.
Well, because it's not like somebody else like a can. The 2s have not exactly.
Marquette lost to UConn by 30 plus last weekend.
You know what though? I have to. I'm surprised that that Arizona just stayed, especially losing the way. By the way, I think I get credit Washington State. You see what Arizona State. Arizona, would they shoot like 60, maybe 65% from the free throw line yesterday? I mean, that doomed them. I don't have them as a number 1 regional seed, Jeff. I don't know if you do or not, but I don't know if the committee is tomorrow. The committee's coming out tomorrow, right? Or
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Next week. Next week they'll do another one. Look, my whole thing with Arizona is what I.
You've always said you've been saying it all year, and you've been spot on.
They, to me, are the most talented team in the country, but you play through a guy like Love, who's so boom or bust like he is.
Yeah.
You're gonna win. You're gonna win some games you may not. You probably should lose in the moment, but you're gonna lose a bunch of games that you have no business losing. We've already seen it at least 3 times where bad decisions by Love at the end of the game have cost Arizona. We saw it last night, where I think it was a little more unlucky than anything that he slipped on a wet spot on the floor and traveled. But it all comes back to the coach. I don't think Tommy Lloyd's any good as a game coach. I think he's an amazing recruiter. The team has been arguably his first year. I thought they were the best team in the country by a pretty significant margin, and they got destroyed by Houston in the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
Last year, inexplicably losing to Princeton in the round of 64. And now this year, probably on their way to exiting early for something that is probably avoidable. By the way, Tommy Lloyd has not covered a game in the NCAA tournament so far in his 4 NCAA games as a head coach.
No covers.
Small sample size, but still 0-4 in the tournament.
With that kind of talent.
Yeah. And they should have lost to GCU 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And tell the people out there how big March Madness is.
Oh, my goodness.
From the Thursday
my goodness,
to
Jimmy.
Sunday night.
Jimmy, I will say this, and not to toot our own horn here, but upstate, of course, the environment here is going to be awesome on Thursday through Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Upstairs is the best party in the entire city for March Madness.
No question.
There's not even a
event center.
Even a debate. It's not only the best, it's the most affordable as well.
Well, first of all, there's no entry fee.
No entry fee, free parking, affordable food.
Bring your court shoes, bring your sneakers, and work on your free throw shooting to win prizes.
We have to have a free throw shooting contest for people here in the studio.
You think you want to? Okay, we'll book it.
Sean, did you play basketball, or are you just a football guy?
Volleyball.
Okay.
No? You played volleyball too, right, Sean? There you go.
I think my basketball skills peaked at the age of 17.
Well, shooting free throws is basic stuff. Listen.
Been a little bit.
We'll book you get the names, get everybody in there, and Jimmy, Chrissy, and I will book the event.
I think Nevertte's got to be the favorite personally.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I do.
Why is that? Is he playing
UNLV?
I know you're a guy. Yeah, I'm sure he is. Yeah. I'm just saying. Is there something we need to know?
You come to the party and have my comp slip on me. I'd buy anything.
Okay, I'm
even more affordable.
I'm in. But
betting stations up there.
Betting stations will be up there. There's a bounty of screens, so you won't miss any of the action. Even though I will tell you, I like that little deep corner. Just to give out a little secret, I like that deep corner where
the deep corner for the three. Oh, you're talking about the viewing. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about your
bar with the TV monitors right in front of all four games. It's hard to beat.
It's a good spot.
It's hard to beat. That was a Wishnev's spot back in the day.
Where's he been?
He's in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I know, but he never come back out here?
Last time he was in town.
He likes the snow, Jimmy.
When was the last time he was in here? I want to say he was in town in December. I got to text him. I got to see if he's willing to come out. We got to get him on the show. Actually.
Sure.
An entertaining guy, to say the least, with our guy, Toddy. But back to just the college hoops as a whole here. With my little rambling there, but again, party is it Thursday through Sunday, correct?
Thursday through Sunday. Upstairs.
Thursday through Saturday.
Thursday through Saturday.
Thursday
I don't. The other part that Jeff is bears mentioning is that as the pairings come out on Selection Sunday, which is 3 weeks from this Sunday.
Yep.
We'll put the numbers up.
Yep.
And announce them here on the air, and of course, not only announce them, but they'll be available for betting right at the counter and on the app. So Jimmy, Chris, myself, good friend Tony Sinisi from over the years, a colleague over the years, and Alex White, I think, is going to join us in the back this year.
You know who stops in because he's a friend or whatever is Richie Bachelera.
Richie B has
college basketball.
Oh, he's as good an opinion. I think he's doing numbers this year with the team down at Circa, but Richie's numbers are as good as you're going to find in college hoops.
Absolutely, and again, we'll haven't decided it yet, but we will have a special of
we'll have a college basketball
Selection Sunday. We're figuring out the times and the length, and as soon as we know, we'll tell you out there. We don't have to worry about that.
Well, we will be on, but of course, with Ann not being here, I mean, she's probably watching right now, going, "Now what are they conjuring up now?" Holding her head.
Really, what I want to do, Vinny, I don't know if Chris would be willing to do it. I'd love to just have a camera on you guys in the back as you're making the numbers and do the show from back there. That would be great.
Darts.
Just throw the darts right up there, for sure. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, more college hoops, maybe some NBA, and we'll see what else we get into. Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
South Point is also proud to provide a variety of relaxing amenities for the guests who want to be pampered. Soak up the sun and let your stress melt away in our lagoon-style Paradise swimming pool. A relaxing getaway where you can bask in the desert sun and enjoy seasonal food and bar service poolside. And if you really want to escape, come to Spa Costa del Sur. From couple suites to a co-ed wet area, our spa caters to business and leisure travelers who want to unwind and elevate their senses. A visit to one of our spa's steam, sauna, or whirlpool treatment rooms will leave any guest feeling like they can take on the world. Our Our gaming amenities include over 60 table games and over 2,600 of the most popular slot and video poker machines. We have penny slots, including the popular Buffalo games, and real machines like Wheel of Fortune, Triple Sevens, and Megabucks. If you prefer video poker, try Deuces Wild, Double Double Bonus, or a variety of multi-denomination games. Or try your hand at one of the most popular casino table games in the world, Blackjack. Don't let the game intimidate you. Blackjack, also known as 21, is both easy and fun. And our dealers are always happy to assist. And the best part? Blackjack always pays 3 to 2. Next, check out the roulette tables. Roulette is one of the easiest casino games to learn, and so much fun to play. It's a favorite of both beginners and seasoned players. In addition to blackjack and roulette, our casino pit features over 60 popular table games like Baccarat, Pai Gow Poker, 3-Card Poker, Ultimate Texas Hold'em, and Mississippi Stud. So get out of your room and come join in the fun.
Welcome back in Sports by the Book. Final segment for us here today on the final Friday of February, which means Free Throw Friday next week will be March 1st, which means we can officially bring up the madness of that month throughout it. Jimmy Ficcaro's here. Vinny Magliulo's here. I'm Jeff Parles. Vinny and Jimmy, let's go to tomorrow because there are a lot of college basketball games tomorrow, to put it politely. And I want to start with one that's going to be bright and early out here on the West Coast, an early tip in Waco for those folks as well. 11 a.m. local in Waco, 9 a.m. out here on the West Coast. Baylor and Houston. Excellent game here between these two Big 12 teams. Houston, I had a little bit of, not a lot of doubt, but I wasn't sure how Houston would fully transition to a power league from them just dominating everyone in the American the last few years.
Ask everybody else in the Big 12 how they've transitioned.
The transition's been great. And look, that's just a testament to Kelvin Sampson.
No doubt.
One of the best college coaches ever to do it, in all honesty.
Well said.
I know what happened in Indiana. I'm sure Indiana would very happily take them back right now.
I think you're right.
Everything that's going on. Vinny, I made Houston the slightest of road favorites here. I made them 1.5. The market right now that has them out, there's not many books that have numbers out.
Probably about two.
It's 2 and 2.5 for Houston on the road favored.
Yeah, I made the game 2, Jeff. And again, a lot of times you say, well, if you make it that, what do you automatically hang it that? Then not necessarily, because you look at the market. We're not the first ones to put up the overnights. They'll come out later on this afternoon. So, but you know what? The other part is, like the exercise, it's similar to if you look at the NCAA tournament, making numbers and getting a few numbers, and then, not every number is the same. You don't want it to be the same. It's like when we're making those numbers for that on Selection Sunday. Are we going to be close? Yeah, for the most part. Is there going to be a few games where we're pretty much all in agreement on an exact number? Maybe a couple or 3, but if everybody in that room comes up with every game the exact same number, that's concerning. So, and why is it concerning? Because that means that we're looking at the exact same things, but it's always good to get different opinions and different perspectives. But to your point, Jeff, you're saying there's 2.5 out there. I make the game 2, you make it 1.5, so it's close. Yeah. And again, this will be a good game in the best conference in the country, Jimmy. There's not going to be another conference that has as many bids coming up.
And from a bookmaker standpoint, what you would know is that there are so many games tomorrow. Here's what happens, and here's great to be a bookmaker. Okay, you come, you bet the 9 o'clock game. At 11:15, you look at the ticket, you're either going to win or you're going to lose. You're going to run back to the counter and make sure you get on the 11 o'clock game.
Yep.
I would like, of course, I don't know, but I would think I'm in pretty good shape here. If people like that probably make 5 bets a day with that, whether you're winning or losing, because it just keeps going going.
Sure.
And not that we can't win every time we do this, but I'll tell you what, you put us in those spots every Saturday night, we're going to end up a winner for the year.
Laying 11 at 10. It's always good to be the house. That's for sure.
Yeah, 100%. Again, I just going with, especially in these Saturdays where I've spent in the book. It's exactly what you said, Jimmy. It's all right. I have my 2 bets that go at 9 a.m. All right. How do we do? Flip it into the games that go at 11 and then 1 and 3 and
so many people make friends with people here.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes you're standing in line for 20 to 30 minutes, and before you know it, you're like talking to the guy next to you
right.
and exchanging things, whatever. But it's a great 4 days. Now, obviously, we know the Super Bowl Sunday is the one-day event, but give Jimmy the Thursday to Sunday every year, and I'd rather have that.
That Thursday to Friday, I will say, if you have not done the March Madness Thursday and Friday,
come on out.
It's the most. I'm with you. It's the most fun 48 hours.
Great social environment.
Yeah, it's incredible. But I will say, if you've never done it, pace yourself, because you have to leave something in the tank for Saturday and Sunday.
Oh yeah.
And if you don't, you're going to sleep through that 9 a.m. Pacific game on Saturday. 100%.
Don't go all in. And there's folks that we see every year for the event.
Oh,
they make it a and how about this? There's groups that we've seen for so long that now their kids are coming with them because they're old enough to wager and be in a casino. So, by the way, speaking of one of those 11 o'clock games, sticking to conference, how about BYU and Kansas State?
Yeah, so that was actually an interesting one that I was going to bring up here, Vinny, because
I got a similar number on this game, Jeff.
So I'm lower on BYU still than I think the market is, and if it wasn't for Fog Allen and Hilton, this home court advantage of Bromwich
it's good.
Is
strong.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I had
Very
BYU as a 1-point favorite here.
Yeah, 1.5. Yeah. So I just probably you might see 2s.
I see 2 right now.
Yeah. So, but that's to Jimmy's point, right? You've got
there's even some 1 out there now, actually.
Okay. So you got a little choice.
State.
Yeah. Take the home dog there. I could see it.
The other one I want to get to here is Duke. They play Wake tomorrow. That is a very important game for Wake Forest. This game is in Winston-Salem.
Mm-hmm.
Wake Forest is actually favored in most spots right now, 2.5, as high as that. I have Duke. I have the wrong team favorite here. I have Duke as a 1-point road favorite.
I have the game pick 'em, but I could see Wake getting fit. Now Duke is playing better recently, right? Of late, so current form for Duke is pretty solid. Wake, a dangerous team, but a dangerous team at home in a really an important spot, right? They're looking for quality wins now and to get the committee's attention. And look, these schools know where they stand and what's at stake. They also know where the conference stands. These coaches especially know about exactly what we're talking about, the strength of not only their teams, but especially the strength of the conferences too. It's no mystery, and I don't think it's any surprise that the Big 12 is the highest rated conference, and right now in the clubhouse, leading in the clubhouse in terms of potential bids. So important in game. Who's the game more important to? In this case, certainly to Wake. Does it mean they're going to win the game? No, but national TV game. That place is going to be raucous. This will be as I think a difficult spot that as Duke has faced in recent weeks.
It is and again, it's a unbelievably important game for Wake Forest.
For
sure. You win this game, I think they not only make the tournament, they would actually be skipped ahead of Dayton and not even have to play in that first 4.
Well, I think they're still going to need some help, Jeff, particularly in the ACC tournament. But it's a huge step to your point, no doubt about it.
Yeah, just don't blow it to a bad team in Greensboro, and you're totally fine. That is in Greensboro this year, right? The ACC
tournament.
Yeah, they moved that thing around now. Let's see.
I don't have it off the top of my head.
You're going to enjoy this. Nothing says the Atlantic Coast Conference like Washington,
D.C. Why not?
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. Wake Forest right now, Lenardi's, they are team number 69 right now for Joe Lenardi. So they are just on the outside looking in.
That could change with
if
a
they
victory
win,
here, right?
For now, yeah. Kentucky, I want to bring up Kentucky. They play Alabama tomorrow. That is a huge game in the SEC.
Probably the highest total on the board.
So I'm seeing one.
I have Kentucky 1.
I have Kentucky 2.
Okay.
It's 1.5 right now. predominantly.
Okay.
Total, I don't know if this is right.
Probably
According to
about
my screen-
175,
According
176.
to my screen, someone opened 179, and it's down to 176.
176 is what
I think 176 is right, personally. But as we know with both of these teams, Kentucky's defense has been significantly better of late. Their offense has taken a step back since that defense has gotten better. But, Vinny, as we've talked about with Alabama all year long, when they're making shots, it is very hard for anyone.
Well, one thing's for sure, they're going to be taking shots.
Yes.
So,
yes.
But this is an important game. Look, Kentucky's lost some. It's important for both of these teams. And the thing about Kentucky is they've lost some very close games. I mean, they get beat at the buzzer the other night on a
Pretty
tip
fluky
in.
play, all things
Yeah,
considered.
and again, to your point, definitely better defense. Kentucky, let me tell you, if Kentucky figures out a way to combine their solid defense with their ability to shoot, they're going to be dangerous in a month. But until that happens, it's going to remain to be seen. But this game here is, again, another close game, and it figures to be, Jimmy.
All right, gentlemen, only a few minutes left. All right, Mister.
Mm-hmm.
I think 10 teams are eligible to win the NCAA because there's just at least 10. How many do you think could possibly win?
How many can possibly win?
Yeah.
I think this is the most wide open year I can remember.
Okay.
Now, I think based off the route to the Final Four, I think UConn should be favored because they're going to be playing in Brooklyn and Boston.
Correct.
Until the Final Four. So they should be pretty significant. Like, again, it's hard to be odds on to win your region in the NCAA tournament. But if there's ever a team to do it, assuming that we don't end up with the best two and the best three in that East region with them, they should be close to odds on because they're playing 4 home games essentially before they get there.
No question.
So
geographically positioned well.
That draw for them kind of changes my answer a little bit. I would go with a minimum of 12 are capable of winning the title. But because UConn is going to have such a major advantage of playing in 2 markets where, look, we talk about Madison Square Garden and UConn all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Brooklyn's the same deal.
Yeah,
same deal. And
they'll
Boston's
travel.
the same deal because it's just, all right, we're going north instead of south from Connecticut.
I think you could say that some similar have a similar thought about it with Houston, right?
Yes,
considering regionally where they're
it's a very
going
good
to
point
be.
because the South region is in Dallas this year.
Yeah. So now to Jimmy's point, is technically all teams are alive, but I think it's I still think that Purdue and Connecticut are the 2 highest rated teams, but you could I don't think it's going to shock anybody to say that somewhere between 10, 12, 15 teams are good enough to win. Especially you get hot in that streak to win the title.
Just naming off a few teams that are good enough to win the title.
Yeah,
of course, Connecticut and Purdue. Sure. Arizona's good enough. I don't think they will, but they're good enough. Houston, Auburn. I know you're a big fan of Auburn.
I like Auburn, although they lose games where you're just shocked that they lose. Tennessee is
Tennessee. It's Barnes. It's kind of the same principle as Lloyd.
Dangerous.
North Carolina, Duke. I think are capable. Duke, I think, needs to get better on defense in order to be there.
Kansas has got to get healthy.
Kansas is depth,
but they're just not depth. They don't have a lot of depth, and the injuries are really hurting them.
Iowa State's an excellent team. It's just a question of will they get enough offense against elite defenses. Creighton showed their muscles earlier in the week. I think they're every bit as good as they were a year ago.
Like to see their next couple of games to see how they come off of that big win against Connecticut. Yeah.
And Illinois, I know they had that ridiculous loss earlier in the week to Penn State where they're up double digits with 90 seconds to go and lost in regulation.
Double digits tomorrow against Iowa.
They're a really good
They're going to
team.
look to take it out on Iowa tomorrow.
I'll throw in Baylor and Kentucky. I know Kentucky needs to get better on defense, but that offense, when they're going as good as anyone in Baylor, just get healthy.
Yeah.
Just get healthy for the Bears.
Yeah. No doubt.
And really good teams all the way.
Wide open and be a great tournament. Look, good for business.
Great for business. Great for business if you get FAU as an 8 seed against the right 1 seed again, which could very easily happen this year. All right. That's all the time we have. Jimmy, Vinny, pleasure as always.
Good job, boys.
We'll see.
I joke with you once in a while, kid, but you know what you're talking about.
I appreciate that, Jimmy. I appreciate that for sure. And I look, what's a show without getting on each other every once in a while, right? I mean,
listen,
we're having a good time.
It's what we do.
Sure. Yeah.
You should see us in the back.
I know. Between the older movies and
pretty good TCM lineup this afternoon.
What were we, Asphalt Jungle or?
That was no. We were watching Blackboard Jungle but right before that was Somebody Up There Likes Me. Rocky Graziano.
Look at you guys.
Tremendous. Paul Newman.
Incredible.
Oh yeah.
Incredible.
Great.
Shout out to the crew as always, doing a great work back there as well. Caden, our guys Sean and Jerry. Great work as always. We'll be back tomorrow, 8:30 in the morning. Alex White and I get you ready for another loaded college basketball Saturday here on Sports by the Book.